Ahoy there! Captain Benzie here, coming at you with another video for Eve Echoes. Now, today's video, as you may have noticed, is a little bit different to usual. First clue is that we're in portrait mode. The second clue is that we're not even in the game. Rather than looking at a particular ship or some kind of game mechanic or something like that, instead today I wanted to talk to you all about Sweet, or Silky's wonderful Eve Echoes tool, an unofficial companion app being developed for Eve Echoes, and what an incredible piece of software this is. We can use this for things like skill management, for trial fitting on a new ship, or indeed even basic market analysis is possible due to this app. It is an exceptional piece of software. I've put a link to it in the description down below. Do make sure that if you enjoy this, you download it, check it out, and make sure to give some feedback, 5-star ratings, and even support him on Patreon if you really want to help support the continued development of this app. Now, speaking of support as well, if you enjoy this video, please make sure to hit like on it, sub to the channel for all things Eve Echoes, ding that notification bell, making sure to tick all notifications so that you never miss an upload. If you do want to go the extra mile, we have both a Redbubble merchandise store and a Patreon page, both of which are also linked in the description below. That all said and done, please do also note that today I am using a new microphone. This is the first time I've tried this one out. I've been playing with the settings for a couple of days now. Hopefully the audio quality is okay. Please give me feedback in the comment section below and I can tweak it and work out what we're doing going forward. Anyway, let's jump right into Sweet, Silky's wonderful Eve Echoes tool. Now, when you first open the app, this menu here is actually going to be empty, and we'll talk about how you fill that in just a moment. We've got a menu at the bottom right, the blue one down in the bottom right, and there is a top left menu up here. And if we have a look at this, you can see that we've got a couple of different options here down the side. Most importantly, we can change our theme. It hurts my eyes. I stick with dark. You might just go with system, or if you're one of these people who prefers light mode, that's where it is. You got announcements, a fitting tool, a market browser, a character browser, and PI time. You can actually refresh this to make sure that you're keeping your PI up to date, and so you've got sort of like an alert as to when your PI is ready for collection. We also have default pilot, which once you've created a pilot, you can choose who your default pilot is, and we'll talk about that more in just a moment. Finally, along the bottom, there are some socials there from left to right. Of course, there is Patreon, Discord, Twitch, and Twitter there that you can find Silky and help support the development of this app there. Now, the other menu, the one in the bottom right, is a contextual menu here that is going to give us the option to either create a new character, to copy a character, or generate a QR code which allows you to share that. If we were to tap on create a new character, you can give it a name here, which I will just showcase this using Captain Benzie. You'll create your new name, you can modify all the different bits here, there. You've got an ID code that it generates based on all of this. There's the QR, the character barcode, all these kind of things there. Now here you go into each of the skills that your character has, and you can add these in at different levels. So what we have here are the skills that Benzie currently, my main character, my Frigate and Destroyer main, has all skilled into. Now to add a new skill, let's go into Spaceship Command and imagine for a moment that I want to fly a battleship. That'll be the day. I can just simply tap where it says Battleship Command and it'll level it up, and you'll see that as in the game, it opens up Advanced Battleship Command once you hit 5. But let's go 5. And we'll go 4 in that. If you go a little bit too far like there, I went to 5. I don't want 5, I only want 4. Tap it again, it'll reset it. We can do that. Advanced Battleship Command. And do I need to go for any weapons? I think I've got large missiles noted in here as well. Yep, I do, which are actually from my stealth bombers. But for the sake of things, let's also go into engineering. And we'll go down to battleship engineering, and we'll make that 5-4 as well. Finally, let's just go defense upgrade and add in battleship defense upgrade 5 and 4. Now, interestingly here as well, it actually tells you how many skill points are required to get to each level there. So you can see how many skill points you've put into each of those. And at the top right of the screen, under where it says Captain Benzie, it showcases how many skill points I would have if I were to actually have all of the abilities shown here. I don't have all of the abilities shown here. 73,114,268 skill points required to have the exact layout that you see here. And of course, you can actually, open and close all of those as required, and it just gives you a basic idea and a rundown of what we're doing. So you can create a character here, either a theoretical character, or you can sort of put in your skills as you have them and just go and keep modifying them. That's very useful if you want to do a test fitting for a particular character, which is what we're going to showcase now. So, if I now go into the top left menu and come out of the character browser into the fitting tool, you'll see no ship fittings found, make some. The menu at the bottom right now is again, we still got copy, we still got QR code, we now have a plus, which is allowing us to add a new ship. So I'm going to go here for a battleship. We're going to have a look at fitting a Typhoon 2. There we are, and you see it comes here with all of its slots and its power grid, and this is based on a naked, unskilled character. There's a couple of different things we can do here. At the top right, if we tap on the little person icon there, you'll see I can choose either a no-skill character, a max-skill character, which is like when I'm using Fulmination Content Creator Test Server, all skills are maxed out, or I can go Captain Benzie. I've already loaded those into there. Now, for a moment, I'm actually going to come out of here, unsave changes. Yes, I'm sure we're going to get rid of all of that, and we're going to tap into the top left here. I can now change my default pilot to Captain Benzie, because I've created that character. Now, if we go back in and create a battleship, again, standard battleship, and we're looking for the Typhoon 2. There it is. You'll see here already it has loaded Captain Benzie in. It says under unnamed fitting, Captain Benzie, Typhoon 2. Now we can start going in and changing all of these. So I go fit all slots here. You can go one by one. If you tap on the empty slot, we can go missile launchers, large missile launchers, and then, for example, a Pith C-type large missile launcher, or I can just go fit all slots, missile launchers, go down to large missile launchers, and again, Pith C-type large missile launchers, and it's loaded all of those into there already for me. So that's my 8 high slots all filled. We then have mid slots and low slots. Low slots, let's have a look. We'll go for a large shield booster. Again, a Pith C-type large shield booster. I'd actually technically go Gisty in-game because it's easier for me to get, obviously being an Angel of Space, but hey, there we go. We can then go for a shield hardener, a reactive shield hardener. Nope, we want adaptive. It's adaptive shield hardeners. Again, we'll go Gist. We'll add a couple of these here. And just like this, and you can start adding all of this gear in there. Got a couple of extra slots there. Yeah, let's go for a third one, because why not? Shield hardener, adaptive shield hardener, Gist C-type. Then we're going to add something like a capacitor battery, a large capacitor battery, which again will be a Gist C-type, and then propulsion, because I can't go without it. A large micro warp drive, Gist C-type. And you can see the power grid there filling up at the top of the screen, that green bar filling up, and that again is based on the skills of the pilot in it. So if in this case I've put in Battleship Engineering 5.4, that will have applied here to the Typhoon 2, giving me that additional power grid. It's also giving an approximate cost there in the top right as well for the fitting, which is already getting, it's not too bad actually, 172 million's not terrible, but that's obviously not including the actual ship itself, which is currently about 1.6 billion, I think. We can look at combat rigs, so I'm going to go here with weapon rigs, missile launcher rigs, we're going to go for a calefaction catalyst, and we're going to go for another one with a we'll go hydraulic bay thruster, no, bay loading accelerator, that's what I'm thinking of there. And then we'll add in a defensive rig, shield rigs, core defense, operational solidified. This is where I really wish I could remember the names. I'm just going to go for a field extender for the moment. Not the best thing to fit for a Typhoon, but you'll hopefully get the point. And you can kind of go in one at a time here and add all these different things in. There we are. I'm going to go engineering rigs again. Capacitor control circuit 3 alongside a semiconductor memory cell, and finally let's add a navigation rig. This isn't a serious fit. Please don't, at me, oh my goodness, what are you doing, Benzie? This is absolutely terrible. Yeah, I know it is. I'm not doing a serious fit here. Public Fleet Berserker. Why would you put a large drone on one of these things? There we are. So let's actually change that one to a Republic Fleet Valkyrie. There we go. And you can see here, it also tells me the optimal range of the drone there, which is pretty cool. You get all of the abilities listed under there. So if you're not sure, actually, for example, I wasn't sure which of those combat rigs was which. For the shields, it's shield bonus there, tells me there. Activation time adjustment, damage bonus. It lists what all of these items do and the modules do based on what it's pulled out of the market data and things there as well, which is pretty cool. It's all showing there quite happily exactly what's going on. So we can see the large capacitor battery has a power grid requirement of 766, activation time 25 seconds. It doesn't give full information there. If we tap on the eye, it gives us a bit more information there. We can go into raw attributes and see absolutely everything about that. So if you're not sure how I did that, let's go back out. This time we'll go up to the top to the Pith C-Type large shield booster. Tap on the eye there. That gives us here, expends energy to provide a quick boost in shield strength, usually fitted to battleships. We then tap in the bottom right on raw attributes. It takes us through. That now tells us the meta level, the module size, slots, shield boost amount, radius. I'm not actually sure what radius means there. Power grid requirement, activation cost, activation time, and volume. There's some unusual stats on here, and it gives you a little idea at the top right as well, how much these sell for and how much they buy for by basic market stats. Oh, no, don't want to come out just yet. Of course, I can now tap on save, and that will have saved it. We can also tap in and change the fitting there. So we're going to go Benzie's Imaginary Typhoon 2, tick, and save. That's all in there. Now, we can have a look at basically what the stats here are doing. So you can see here, like, just different bits and pieces to have a look at what is going on. At the bottom here, you can see what your DPS is, so what your missile DPS is and what your alpha is, that kind of thing. It's all showing down there. We can go into the sort of damage profiles and tanking. There's the resistances to all these things. We can tap on EHP and raw and showcase how that's all working there. We have our cap stability by the battery here, 1 minute 36. And then things like the other stats like source radius, signature radius, all shown in the back here as well, which personally I think is pretty cool. If you want to close that, you have to tap down on the same thing again. So like where I've pulled up its basic combat stats here, you'll see that as I do so, if I tap on that same sort of aperture icon, it closes that down there and gives us an idea of what we're looking at here in regards to our actual DPS. It's a little bit inaccurate there, I feel. We've got 484 and 531. I'm not sure what's going on there, the difference between rockets and the launchers. Ahoy there folks, Future Benzie here, jumping back in on the video just to make a quick update and adjustment to what I've just said. Now, it turns out this is just a minor bug. By coming out of the fitting and then jumping back into it here, you can see it's actually fixed the DPS and the alpha details here at the bottom of the screen. They are now showing the correct figures as this would be on live. Also, I've just spoken with Silky on his Discord, and from left to right, these are turret damage, missile damage, drone damage, and then total. So, whereas I was getting confused as to what the missiles and the last one were, it's just a total there on the right hand side, which in fairness I should have just sat down and added the missiles and the drones together and I would have easily seen that that's the case. But hey, there we go, we all make mistakes while filming, right? Anyway, back to the video. Again, just play around with it and you'll get an idea for what's going on. I'm going to save it again. Now if we tap out, we don't get that notification. We can copy this if we wanted to, so we can clone it, and then we can go in there and edit this second one with different things and different ideas of what we can do in that. And then finally, we can go into the market browser here as well. This gives us the idea to the chance and opportunity to have a look at certain things. So for example, you've been exploring and you found some blueprints and you're interested to know how much those blueprints are worth. Let's have a look. Rig blueprints. Oh, I found a navigation auxiliary thrusters 3 blueprint. Oh, it sells for 103 million ISK and it buys at 75.2 million. That's a pretty nice one. What does it actually do though? Let's tap on raw attributes. Okay, that doesn't actually give us information there. As I said, this is an app that is still under development, and there's a lot still to be added and still to be working on. There's a lot of information in the game if you think about this. But again, we can have a look at ships. So let's have a look at that battleship. If I were to buy a Typhoon 2 off the market, it's not pulling out any market details so far, selling and buying at 0, which means there's probably not enough on the market to get a decent idea of it. But again, you can see what the bonuses there are on the Typhoon. Large missile torpedo operation, battleship command. We can look at its raw attributes, and that's all listed down here as well. It's a little bit confusingly worded. I do think it could have a nice little polish on the layout there, but I am still seriously impressed with this app. Certainly the fitting tool is to me the most powerful part here, and the fact that you can go in and you can try out different fittings without having to have bought everything. So for example, if I go into frigates and pick up a Drum EL, Go into the high slots. Again, we'll go fit all slots. Cannons, small auto cannons, and if I wanted to go Gisty X-type small auto cannons, how is this all going to work if I were to go absolutely crazy with everything all maxed out? So warp scramblers, predator warp scramblers, yeah, good luck getting one of those in the game at the moment. I do still have a couple, but I'm never fitting them to a ship until they add them back into the game as something that can actually be looted. 2 predator warp scramblers, going minor hunting here, and we will go with a web. It's under electronic warfare as well. Stasis Webifiers, Predator, Stasis Webifier. In the lows, let's go for a micro warp drive. Small micro warp drive, Gisty X-type, and you can kind of see what's going on here. Now we have things like the speed there, 4,317.09. If I were then to go into the engineering rigs, let's just go fill all slots with auxiliary thrusters 3 and nano core. There we are. So we've got the new Dark Halo nano core. Let's add in the additional flight velocity there and see what we come up with. There we are. So we're looking at a flight velocity of 6,728.7 meters per second, although good luck actually hitting anything at that speed. Just an idea of the kind of crazy stuff here you can do with this. Now I'm going to come out there. I don't care. Don't need to save that fitting. Anyway, there we have it. That is everything I think you need to know here about using Sweet. This is an incredibly potent piece of software, and I do wholeheartedly recommend that you download it, give it a try, and play around with some fittings, play around with your characters, getting their skills and figuring out where you want to put them based on the amount of skill points that you have available, things like that. Three very powerful tools there, the character browser, the market browser, and the fitting tool. Now, let me know your thoughts and opinions on this. As I said, if you enjoy this, if you think this looks cool, give it a download. Give Silky some feedback onto how this is going. I think this is an amazing tool, and I'm going to be using this an awful lot. It saves me having to load into Fulmination and sort of magic everything up and fit it. And so far, when I've tested stuff and sort of compared it side by side, I did a couple of things like Tempest fittings, a couple of Drumiel fittings and things like that. When I've pulled it up on Fulmination, it does seem to be very accurate. So Silky does seem to have got that down pat, which I'm really, really happy with. Anyway, folks, let me know your thoughts and opinions in the comment section down below. Again, please let me know how the microphone sounds. I'm still playing around with it and trying to figure out what's going on there. Things like connections and equalizer and, yeah, you can imagine. Anyway, happy sailing and see you in New Eden.